If your credit score is between 300 and 550, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do to increase that. You must follow each step correctly. So if you need to take notes, if you need to rewind, or if you need to rewatch this video, do whatever you need to do so you can get these results. Here's number one. Unfortunately, you won't be able to just walk into your bank and then just get a credit card. It won't work that way. I don't care if you have a checking account, savings account, all that. It more than likely won't work because your credit score is not high enough to do so. So you may have to start with a secured credit card. Some of the best secured credit cards to start with is going to be a Capital One secured card. You can also go with an Open Sky secured card. And there's also some other options as well. And I'll put some of those in the link in the description if you don't have many options to go by, because some of you may have already tried or may have already had some of these accounts in the past and you're not able to go back to them. The reason why Capital One is a great place to start is because they have a 3-tier system. So tier number one is where you have to put down a $49 deposit in order to get a $200 credit limit. Then you have tier number two, which is a $100 deposit with a $200 credit limit. And then you have tier number three, which is a $200 deposit for a $200 credit limit. Another reason why you want to go with Capital One is because once you build a relationship with them, not only will they potentially upgrade that card to an unsecured card, but you'll be able to take advantage of their other products. Like you may want to get an auto loan in the future. You may want to get a checking or savings account in the future. So it's always a great place to start. And it's one of the few secured credit cards that you can actually add authorized users on as well. So if you have a friend or family member that you're looking to help them increase their credit score without them doing anything, this is a great place to start with that particular credit card. Open Sky has been out for years, so it's always a great place to start with them because they don't do any credit checks. Everyone is pretty much approved as long as you haven't had an account with them in the past and have done them bogus by not paying them or being late or something like that. Then here's the best thing about Open Sky as well is that even if you did do them wrong in the past, if you just paid them the amount that you had when you had the account open before you close it, because that's really the only way to kind of hurt their feelings is to do a charge off or essentially to close out the account while having a balance. If you pay that balance, that essentially resets that relationship with them. Number two, now this is going to take a little bit of patience, maybe about 30 to 45 days, but don't worry, keep watching until the end and I'll show you what you need to do if you don't have the patience. But what you want to do is to actually move up in the tiers. So now that you started off with a secured credit card, you now want to go ahead and work your way up to an unsecured credit card. We're not talking about going from the secured credit card that you had in my first example and then waiting for that to upgrade. That may take a little bit longer than 30 to 45 days. But what you want to do is go ahead and get an unsecured credit card, because after about 30 to 45 days, you're now going to start attracting other companies. Now, they may not be as popular as the bigger names. There's something like, First Premier, Credit One, even Capital One may be one of those options that you can go with. And again, guys, this is simply to help you rebuild your credit. I know there's a lot of credit videos on YouTube and things about credit cards and rebuilding credit in general. And they always talk about American Express or Navy Federal and things of that sort. But what if you can't qualify for those, right? So now you have to start somewhere. So when you get one of those credit cards, First Premier, Credit One, Capital One, whatever the case may be, the biggest thing is how you're using that credit card. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're using about 10% or less. So I always tell people if the limit is 300, you want to stay about $30 or less. So I would say, look at any of the bills that you have, a gym membership, or any type of bill or subscription service that you have. It could be Apple Music, Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, anything that's about $30 or less, preferably. Once you start using like $100 or $50, assuming your limit is like $300, you're already using 30% and you're not going to maximize your credit score this way. Some of you guys have these credit cards right now and you're saying, well, how come my score is not going up like I thought it would? That's because you're using too much of that credit card. And as I mentioned, if you don't want to wait, then another thing you could do is get at least 2 credit builder accounts. Credit builders have been out for years, okay? And mainly simply because it's an easy way, a non-traditional way to start building credit. So you can start off with something like, a self. Also, it used to be known as Self Lender. It could be Credit Strong. It could be kickoff.com, which is KIKOFF. And don't worry, I got links in the description below so you guys can go ahead and choose the right one. But you also have Kovo and many others that will help you build your credit. And many of these are automatic approvals. Again, the only time they're going to deny you is that if you've had any of these accounts in the past and you were late a lot or you just closed them them out without finishing the account. But guys, that's why it's a lot of options that you can actually use to start improving your credit score right now. Number 3 is going to be being patient again to get the next credit card. Now, here's what happens if you're not patient. If you're not patient, then you're going to keep getting the same type of tier credit cards. Remember, because your score has not gotten to a certain point. So if you're getting cards again, like another Capital One or another Credit One card, another First Premier, Mission Bank, all First Progress, all of these entry level credit building, credit rebuilding, fresh out of bankruptcy type credit cards, then you'll never be able to get to that higher point. It's going to take you a little bit longer because now your average age is going to be there regardless of which credit card you go with. But you want to make sure that you're actually choosing the right type of credit card. So if you wait about 2 to 3 months, then you can go ahead and start qualifying for better types of credit cards. This is going to be tier number 3. Remember, tier 1 is going to be secured, right? Tier 2 is where you're going to be like right out of that situation where you're getting out of secured credit cards, and then you're now getting the Capital One, the Credit One. But tier number 3 is going to be like American Express, Blue Cash Every Day, Discover It, Citibank, Bank of America, even Chase Freedom may be in that mix. But you have to show banks what you've done recently. They want to see who have you paid recently, what new relationships have you built that you've nurtured recently. But if it's okay, if you're like, Calvin, I don't have a lot of time, I don't care about, what names I go with, what brands I go with, that's fine. You can go ahead and get another credit card, but it's most definitely going to be in that same tier category. But if you want credit cards that's going to give you at least a couple perks, or at least some cash back, or at least a higher limit, for all of your hard work, then it doesn't hurt to wait 2 to 3 months to get these banks' attention. If you're looking for more ways to improve your credit score or just to learn more about credit in general, I highly recommend you check out this video right here.